All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back here this Tuesday afternoon, December 5th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Great to have a few of us still sticking around inside the cyber group, perhaps waking a few of us up or just a bunch of us rejoining us right now at 2:30 Eastern. Great to see Ravina still with us here. I had Grant, Andrea, Brian just before. Folks, just let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Should be given the green light there, right? Fina, Alex, Bill, Kath, Ray, Larry, got all of us just here now joining us here. So perfect. And if you're joining us on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., at Cyber Trading You, all of our social media streams and platforms alike. We just came off our weekly workshop just earlier this morning, folks, Traders Talk. So that's as good of a reason as any to make sure that you are subscribed. If you are following along, perfect. Just so you know when we're going live, when we're not, this weekly workshop, we do Traders Talk done every Tuesday morning, but just make sure that you're following along so you can catch on pretty early. Join us inside our live trading room otherwise, though. So, hey, we've had a pretty good day thus far. And this trade any here has been a phenomenal push. We have been on top of this stock pretty much since the end of last week, really from the get-go, from Friday into Monday, yesterday into today. And hey, let me just ask, is anyone still in this trade with us here from earlier this morning? Maybe Chuck or Ravina, Margaret, Larry, Eric. If you're in this trade right now, just give me a quick shout. Just want to see, just curious. Hopefully a lot more to come on this move here, because if you're not in now, as we know, 3 o'clock, even furthermore, 3:30, that is your best time to be trading for the afternoon, to be aggressively hunting for an entry. So, if you're not in it right now, there could be some more room left. And looks like Eric and Bill, there we go. A couple of us in it right now, at least. And yeah, for right now, definitely going to add this to our watch list. Right at the top it goes. We mentioned this earlier. ANY is actually a crypto stock, Bitcoin mining related stock. Again, if you are someone out there that is not a crypto fan or Bitcoin, A-okay, no harm, no foul there. But obviously, there's a lot of different trades that are going to be affected by it. So you may want to be a little bit more in touch with it over time. Bitcoin in particular. This is the Bitcoin chart, blasted over 38,000 a little while back, over 40 now. And man, we're really pushing. So one thing actually I was going to show during our weekly workshop just earlier, Traders Talk. Well, let's see. I think this is exactly it here. I have the same lines here from before. Right? This is it. Yes. All right, cool. So I ended up actually running what's called a Fibonacci extension just on this chart. Went from bottom to top, then back down to the last bottom here, just across the last bull market. And taking a look here, just broke over 40,000, a little over 40,000 here, this last Fib line. And well, now it seems like it's making another push up towards what we have here, like 48,500. It actually topped off there back in April of last year and fell back down. So that definitely is a strong resistance ahead. Just that's a very loose, thought, at least ahead of time here. The more it pushes up, it's going to pull back or make a local top. Well, perhaps that 48,500 could be it. Just we'll see what comes of this move here across the remainder of this week. Obviously, today's only Tuesday, so it might get a little pullback tomorrow, perhaps, and maybe even a higher high come Thursday. There's a lot of action left here. So ANY is having a big day, up over 52%. Now, hey, one thing just to add on top, it's easy to look at Bitcoin, be like, oh, let's just trade the Bitcoin stocks, right? Well, has this stock actually made a good move over the last year? Even as Bitcoin's making its own pops here and there? No, this is just the third day that this has actually been on a decent run. More so than anything, we've been on top of stocks like CLSK, as we know, stocks like, as we all know, Mara and Coinbase and Riot. And, you get more coming over time, like that ANY. BKKT was the flavor of last week or the week before, another Bitcoin stock. Like I think this has to do with the wallets, the Bitcoin wallets, not mining as much. But either way, ANY goes on our list right away there. I'll tell you, the CLSK I do like. I mean, had a little pop just before. We switch back to a 1-minute chart right now just to show the finer details. But yeah, I mean, this is pushing back up here. CLSK, very volatile stock, volatile in a good way. Has good liquidity, good spread. We like that. I don't mind slipping this just on our list for now. Now, with Bitcoin pushing up the way it has been, it's like, okay, maybe we could add Nara too. Maybe we could add, come back to those at the end. I like these two the most, the ANY and then the Clean Spark Trade CLSK here. Now, what we will do is go from top to bottom now. Market just had a small pop before, so I'm really hoping to see a higher high over time. Pulled back down. This last inch up, I thought was the beginning of something good. And right as we started this meeting just now, little pull back there. So, we'll see what comes of the afternoon, but let's just rip it right from top to bottom now. Have the ANY top gainer here actually on our list already. Let's see what else we got. Kala, Kala, just out of nowhere, right? You never know what you're going to catch here in these meetings. So out of nowhere, just 10 minutes before this meeting started, big pop, 840 up to 10 and change. Let's just see if there's any like headline, any catalyst out there at all. Has bad volume on the book. So, apples to oranges. This versus a clean spark. This one not looking too attractive there on level 3. Yeah, there's no news out on the stock since November 17th. We're going to pass, hard pass. Definitely pass. Definitely pass on stocks that look like CHSN here. We had called the stock out just a little after 2 o'clock, like at 2:01, 2:02. Well, it popped up a little from there. Don't get me wrong, but bad volume on the book. The end result, nasty shake back down. What happens when support can't hold? It's going to plummet. Look what happens when support can't hold. It's going to plummet. So, we just said it there, right? CMD, it's done. MFH, done. Probably say that across the majority of these here on the gainer side right now. I got these cheapy stocks below $1 even here. I got to skip over those. Now, listen, I'm sure there's going to be other Bitcoin stocks too. We're not going to go through every single one unless if it's looking strong. So, Bitfarms is another one here. Pretty slow. GitLab earnings, they ended up pulling back as soon as the market opened up. ALT, this has been on fire the last few days. Geez, big pre-market pop back from Friday last week, then yesterday popped, and then even now making another good move. I like this trade. ALT, I forgot the news out on the stock, so actually allowed me to jump right back to Benzinga Pro. If you didn't believe me before on Kala, here it is, November 17th, we just said. All right, ALT. What happened on this trade? I forgot about this. All right. Another weight loss thing, is this? It's back from November 30th, phase 2 obesity trial. It's the Ozempic effect, right? So ended up seeing a nice little pop just before new HOD, moving up to $5 here. Big level, psychological level, you can call it. I would say, simply looking at the daily chart. Looks like a big pennant building. Higher lows, lower highs. So it'll be pretty interesting of a trade to at least watch. On top of $5, you also got this iceberg, about 20,000 shares sitting up top. Looks like stacked up. Ooh, might have to dip into Bookmap here. Might have to dip into level 4 right now for ALT just to show. Looks like a clean stack of orders every 10 pennies. Well, that definitely confirms it. Just waiting for the rest of the data to load. Yeah, this one actually just showed up a few minutes ago, but one at 510, one at 520. It's not every 10 cents ahead, but after that 550. Okay, I like it. This ALT trade definitely looking pretty interesting. Anything else? Gainer side here? Ooh, there are definitely something good on the gainer side here. So for a couple of us that were working with me on coaching one-on-one earlier today, got David and Tony, and we were both looking at the hood trade. Actually, let me dip into this right now because we called it out from earlier. Big level. This came in just a little earlier here. I think it was right here at that 12:46 time slot. I'd rather just show a book map or expedite time. I was trying to fish through the tape earlier with one of my students, and it took 5 minutes. So yeah, you had about 106,000 shares that were filled earlier today at 10:29. Now, if that's supposed to be so much selling, so much red and selling pressure, A, why did it pop up after? But B, even after it tanked, why did it move back up again? Why is it back above that price? You tell me. If that's so much selling pressure, why is it still moving up? Maybe it's not selling pressure. So that's what we were talking about in the intermediate class last week, phase 2. Definitely looking pretty strong right now. Hood, I still have option calls on this right now, and yeah, see if this keeps going. I feel like though, okay, so we were following Hood last week for a good portion of it since the initial gap up that it had. So from like $8.75, $9 to where it is now, 10.37. How big of a move is that, like percentage wise? I don't know the answer to that, so let's break out your old calculator here. We're talking, I mean, on like kind of like being lenient, I'd say it's like an 18 to 19% move. How often do we see a stock make an 18 to 19% move in one day, let alone 1 hour? You know what I mean? So why can't Hood keep popping up right now? You tell me. This thing's on a great trend. Big resistance ahead at 1050. So, if it really blasts over that, your next level after that would be 11. On the daily chart too, talked about this in the morning meeting. Loosely speaking, I said 11, but probably round up towards 1120-ish. You have a bit of a daily chart level, loosely speaking, 1120 or even up high 1145-ish. So, always be more on the conservative side with taking profits. But with where it's at now at $10.37, I think there could be some room left on the day here for this trade. So I like Hood. Damn, you got a lot more actually on this gainer side, up over 5%, mind you, but like familiar names. Hive we had before, BTBT, another couple Bitcoiners out there. IRS, oh yeah, we saw this before. We were joking around from the end of last week. We were saying, how is this not the most heavily shorted stock ever? IRS. Yeah, Summit here, SMMT. This has been a fan favorite over time. VKTX, similar, broke all-time highs earlier this year for us. SNOA is not a fan favorite. This is actually below $1, well below $1. But anytime you see this on the gainers list, just avoid it. It's a loser. Look at the daily chart. All these big red wicks. It's all pop and drops every time. Been around the block. All right. What do we got here on the loser side, though? IBIO, another familiar name back from the COVID era. Well, you can say back in 2010 also. But seemingly back in COVID here. Before probably a bunch of reverse stock splits. Stock popped and dropped back then for us. Repel, REPL. So this one from earlier was at all-time lows. We were looking for a better drop-off over time. Got the drop-off after a small squeeze up at first. Nice pop from 6 to 7. Back down. Then ever since, it hasn't gone really too much of anywhere. Order book definitely filled in a lot more. So I actually like that part, but you need a trend. You need something that's active. And don't get me wrong, I guess you could say it's trending down a little bit off the last hour or so, but I want something probably a little bit faster. More momentum. Well, I'll tell you what, we are actually on the losers list right now, but everything otherwise here, maybe below Spirit Airlines, is hard to borrow. Anytime Spirit's down percentage-wise, I always say it's not a surprise. Got crushed earlier today. It's definitely pulling back. Looks a little bit more volatile compared to that Repel. So if I were to add one over the other, I don't mind adding save as a short. Remember, folks, focus on the trend. Is this a long or is this a short? Down 13.5%, trending down. You tell me. Come on. I would not be looking to catch falling knives. Something like this heading into the afternoon. You're going to look to follow the trend. All right, so let me know, folks. And yes, Grant, on top of just a short and a down move, we're looking for a big move on top, not just a tiny move, my friend. So I appreciate that. Let me know if there's anything else, though, otherwise up or down, folks, just inside our live trading room. Anything that's looking good. Got a decent list. Already got, believe it or not, Robinhood technically is a Bitcoin stock because they own a ton of Bitcoin, believe it or not. And, hey, if we got a strong push on BTC, probably get a good push on Hood. So we actually got 3 Bitcoin stocks on our list. We got the ALT. And then on top of that, as a short, we even got one short there, the save. So again, last call, if there's anything else looking good, up, down, left, right, more than that, 5%, type it in. Break open Benzinga Pro lastly, finish up here. Got a couple, but they're cheap and probably pop and drop type stocks. Not going to look to really give much thought. OTLY, I think we actually saw this from the other day, even from Friday last week it was, or maybe even yesterday it could have been. Losing track of my days. But let's go to settings here. Let's see if we can go to window. Tidy this up a little bit. I don't know what happened there. There we go. All right, so definitely a pretty liquid book. It doesn't hurt us to add this on our list now. Good book, cheap, moving up. All right, you got me there. OTLY, I'll slip on there. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, folks. You got the Cala making another pop. I guess with the pop, perhaps I could add this to our list now, but the order book is gross. You don't want to be gambling on a stock like this when there are like 50 times, 100 times easier trades that you could actually make your day's pay on, like Robinhood, like CLSK, like ALT, like any, like OTLY. There's a litany of different trades already on our list, folks. So, hey, you want to do the one share trade? Go ahead. I'll add it. It's on the bottom, right? But otherwise, you know what I'll be following here. So you got me in the chat board up until 3:30, and then Rich will be on the mic beginning in about 15 or 20 minutes, folks. Sam at the end here asking about VKTX. Yeah, we saw that just earlier. I did run by it. Not really like moving too fast. That's the issue on it. That's all right. I mean, hey, maybe at 3:15, like a little after Rich jumps on, around 3:15, 3:30, if it's making a move back up to the high of the day, then we'll consider it. Sam has good spread, good book. Just right now, I wish it was at like a little bit faster moving even. All right, Damon saying, take a look at NEM. It's a Bitcoin stock. No. Well, maybe it is, but otherwise, Newmont Mining is a gold mining stock. How do I know that? Well, my friend Grant, that's how I know. So Newmont Mining is definitely a gold miner. If they are a Bitcoiner, then I will have to do some digging on that, Damon. But Grant is we have a lot of students that have been with us over the years. So Grant is a longtime student, much like a lot of us, but Grant is our gold student here. He is very experienced with trading gold over the years, just NEM, one of them. I will definitely take a look otherwise just to make sure. You never know. You learn something new every day. If they are a Bitcoin stock, I'll just see how much either way. But that's where I go back and say, like, hey, we don't need to trade every Bitcoin stock out there, folks, right? Because you take a look at a trade like HUT. You think we're trading this right now? Nah, right? You got to focus on trend. So, NEM's kind of flat either way. The CLSK was, well, even this is dropping off a little bit now. So it's just pushing up a little bit earlier. Let's go back to any. This one's up the most. So that one's definitely staying on our list either way. Hood. Trend is still intact. That's looking pretty nice. So, I'm going to keep with what we got here for the meantime. I like what we got here, folks. To any of our trial members here, again, we don't suggest for you to trade until you go through our classes formally. And then otherwise for students like Sam, Grant, Kathleen, Ravina, etc., Bill, start and stick with the list. You know the deal. I would not look to just jump to stock XYZ as soon as I finish this meeting here. I just took the last 18 minutes to scan the market. And it's not even just saying it's doing it. Imagine Fausto doing it for 30 plus years. You want to focus on the stocks that are trending the best, that have the most momentum at this point in the day, that are also pretty liquid. Let's start with what we got. All right, folks. So, hey, Rich will be on soon. I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30. Talk to you soon here, folks. Take care.